Welcome to another exciting edition of Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Papergoy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
Anybody new to the channel, my name is Papergoy. I sell out of my home, and I've got about 40,000 items on eBay and Amazon, and I bring everything to you from the small perspective.
I'm Mr. Magazine. I have 500,000 items, a big warehouse, and 15 employees.
Today, we're going to talk about that giant clock on the wall behind us. And I know that Auction Professor, friend of the channel, has talked about it a number of times. He has said that what you should do is kind of keep a journal of your time because it disappears. You always find something or other to do, as I'm sure you're aware.
Absolutely.
When's the last time you were sitting around during the workday doing this?
I might have dozed off of my desk and did that in my sleep, but that's about it.
So I bring this up because yesterday I went to a sale. It was right around the corner from my house. I happened to have the day off of work. And I'm going to give you a little bit of an insider tip for sales. The sale did not have, it had like 5 comic books pictured, 1960s, not brand, was it, or the heck is the name of that?
Not Brand X.
Not Brand X, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you see, you know comics better than me. And one Spider-Man, which I don't even know what number it was, were pictured. And other than that, there was pretty much no paper pictured whatsoever. However, it was 1960s and 70s galore. Now, it happened to be close to the house as well. And as I've stated on the live show, when I'm doing my normal field job, I can hit estate sales a lot easier because I'm out and about. I get a lunch hour. I'm going to be passing by there anyway. I'm taking lunch right now and let me go to the sale. Now I actually have to have time off and all that sort of thing in order to hit the sales. So even though there were 5 comics pictured, and this was the second day of the sale, I said, I'm going to go there. And here's why. It's because odds are, if they've got 5 comic books, they've got other stuff from the 60s and 70s.
Right, yeah.
As opposed to you see a sale out in one of the hoity-toity suburbs and everything they have are women's clothes and Mackenzie Childs items and things like that. And everything they have is from the 1990s, 2000s. That probably isn't going to have the stuff that I want. So a little insider tip, a lot of times, especially if you're into paper items, the estate sales do not respect paper items the way that they should. So they may not be pictured, they may not even be noted down below, but if you do see things that are from a certain time period that is into where you know paper and other items, go. It's definitely worth going to that. Don't waste your time on the hoity-toity sale that has all this new in-box stuff if that's not what you sell, because you're probably not going to find old paper.
Yep.
So that's a bit of an insider tip. So I drive to the sale and I park way down the street and walk in, and I ended up spending about 45 minutes probably through the sale. Spent $44, got a lot of stuff. Very, very happy with that. But I've got 45 minutes invested. Right. We're going to take my driving time out of it because literally it was a mile and a half away from my house, something rather like that. I mean, but of course I did have to drive there.
Say an hour.
Yeah, hour between driving and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
New York State cares a lot about the environment, so it has a wonderful law about the use of plastic bags. And I know, and this is something or other that prime time, I should really listen to him when he does his videos because he says, bring a box.
Yeah.
Guess what Papergoy did not do?
Well, you can bring those other bags.
Bags,
Maybe
box.
Those shopping bags are a little more durable.
But guess what Papergoy did not do?
Bring a box.
Guess what the weather was yesterday?
You know, all your boxes you give to me for free anyways. That's probably why.
That's probably, it was all out of them.
All out of them.
Guess what the weather was like yesterday?
Cold and dismal. Ugh.
And?
Raining.
Paper items and water. Are they friends?
No.
No, they're not friends at all. So Papergoy made this pile. And this pile, when I say it would have gone from my waist up to about here. Mm-hmm. Well, I got to the sale. It opened at 8:30. I got to the sale a little after 9. So I had to park way down the street. So here I am carrying paper items like this in the rain, trying to keep everything as dry as possible. So kind of hunched over it, get out to the car. Finally, I'm able. So I'm holding it all like this. I'm at the car. Now I've got to get the car door open. But I don't want to rest the paper against the side of the car because there's water all over it.
You were alone then?
Yes, I was. So I'm over here holding, alone again, naturally. So I'm holding on to it like this. I finally get the door just open, and it closes back up. And gee! So I finally get it open. everything all over the front seat. But I got it in and it was dry.
Nice.
So then I get home and I grab a box and I kind of pack everything into the box, bring it in the house. So I've got an hour invested at this point. Spent $44 for, it ended up being one banker box filled with stuff for $44. Not bad. 1970s magazines, a few 60s magazines, et cetera, et cetera. Start sorting through it when I get home. I ended up finding a $65 magazine in there, mini bike magazine from 1971,
Nice.
which is one did sell on eBay for $60, so that's not bad whatsoever. So listed a few things here and there, sorted things, et cetera, et cetera. But now I'm into it for, another hour between the sorting and everything?
Yep.
I bring this up because this morning, we're shooting early in the morning. Before I came here, I said, hey, I've still got all of that stuff. Let me scan the stuff to make my listing today easier. 130 scans. That took, and I've got the CZUR Scanner, which goes pretty fast.
Yeah.
Took over about 35 minutes to scan. So I've got another half an hour into it. Another little tip here when you're scanning. Now, I do scan the covers and I do scan the table of contents. As I was going through and scanning, I know I've got more of that magazine, so I threw that magazine off to the side. I only wanted this one. So I was scanning that, so I was scanned all the like titles together. So that way when I list them, they're listed together as opposed to having to search through. So I kind of did the sorting while I was scanning, which will save time.
Sure.
But I've still got, at this point, 2.5, 3 hours into it, and I've only listed 10 items, maybe, something other like that. And all day today is going to be spent listing because if I've got 130 scans, 2 an item, et cetera, you're still talking 60 items I have to list. So I'm going to end up with a day's worth of work.
A few hours, right?
Yeah, certainly like that. So it basically a leisurely day's, full day's worth of work off of this one deal. It's all going to be listed, and I'm going to do very, very well in the long run.
Right.
But I've invested a day into that.
Into 60 items.
Into 60 items, yeah. Between sourcing it, between sorting it, between scanning it, between listing it. And that's not even counting. So we'll say a full day by the time you count in when it ends up selling and end up packing it.
Yeah.
So that's the reality of the situation. And I'm doing it myself. I'm not under any pressure. I've got a day job. I don't rely on this as my sole source of income.
Yeah.
And 60 items or thereabouts ends up taking a full day from sourcing to sending out. I'll do well. If you figure $20 a piece on them, and some of them are better than that, you're talking $1,200.
Yeah.
Back off of $44. Yeah, I'm not going to complain. You take your fees out, you take whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Still, I'm going to make $600-700 for that day's worth of work eventually. But now take a look at it from your viewpoint. You're paying somebody.
I could never do that.
Well, I'm not even saying that. You're paying somebody.
Right.
You are doing that.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah.
You are doing that, but you're paying somebody. You're paying, how many employees do you have at this point?
We're up to 15 now.
15 employees.
Yeah. And by paying them, it basically takes them, or it takes me away. If I were to go there with you, that would take me away from my job. And not that I list, but I do other things. So I would be behind the 8 ball prepping for everyone the next day.
Right, but I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about you just hired, how many employees do you have?
15.
15. Obviously, you're not going to start out and hire 15 employees.
Right.
But I'm just starting out. And I say, I've watched a lot of videos online. I know how to do this. I'm going to make money. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
And I hire you.
Yep.
And I go out and I say to you, hey, I've got to buy this morning at 8:30. You come by at 10 o'clock this morning, and we're going to start working. And I'm going to work you 8 hours.
Right.
And the minimum wage up here is what, $13 by the time, say 13 by the time you add in the unemployment, the workers' comp, say $15 an hour is what you're spending.
Putting on, yep.
So $15. I come home at 9:45 with this gigantic box of stuff. 10 o'clock, you show right up.
Yep.
And we'll leave out the, how you doing? Here's what I need. We'll leave out all the requirements. You got to fill out the paperwork. We'll just say you did all that beforehand.
Right.
You literally hit the ground running, starting to work. I've got $120 out of my pocket paid to you at the end of the day.
Yep.
After, all in with all the expenses. and I've got those 60 items listed. Hopefully I've got a few more than that, but we've got those 60 items listed. And we'll say I was doing nothing else, whatever. I was sorting other stuff. I went out and found another buy, something like that. I've got to pay you $120 today with no sales.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Same thing happens tomorrow. I go out and I get another big deal. I come in, you list it.
Yep.
I give you another $120 for another 60 items or 80 items, whatever listed.
Yeah.
End of the week, I've paid you $600 out of my pocket,
Yeah.
and I may not have made any sales.
Right.
Or I did make a sale out of there. Great. Oh, I got $40 back. Great. I got $40 back in something I paid $1 for.
Yeah,
Awesome.
right.
But I'm $600 behind the 8 ball from paying you.
Well, here's the big question or choice. If you absolutely have nothing to list and you're just starting out, well, then you don't have a choice. You have to do that. You have to buy product and you have to have someone list it. But if you have, like myself, a huge warehouse, 500,000 items that need to be listed, that's a choice I got to weigh up. Do I really need these 60 items? Do you need these 60 items?
Yes, I do.
Well, in our sick heads, yes, we do, but really, we don't. But anyways, moving on. Yeah, it's a big choice where you can just say, geez, I got this other stuff I just bought. I'm not going to go to that sale. And certainly if it was a 30 minutes away or an hour, you're not going to the sale. But 5 minutes away, that makes your choice a little easier, but it's still a choice to decide, do I need more product or can I just pump out this stuff today and, move on?
You're right, but I guess the flip side of that coin.
Well, hold on, I'm going to interrupt you.
Yep.
That's another option to flip the items. So say, you got your 45 minutes, hour invested, and say I'm buying anything under the sun.
Which you would buy all the stuff I have.
So you
there,
pay 65 and they're worth 1,000. You go, hey,
give me 150.
I was going to say 200. Give me $200. I'm buying it. So that's another option you have. Like, if you're backed up with product, do you want to do the quick flip and make good money, or the long haul with the $1,000, the expenses along the way, the employee, and so forth?
See, and I guess the flip side of the coin for me is I invested a day. Inevitably, I invested a day, and I will be cash-wise, not time-wise, cash-wise, I will be out of the deal. What is now in middle of the month? I'll be making money off this deal by the end of the month. I mean, I will sell enough things out of it. I'll be making
or
money
a day or a week if that bike mag sells.
Yeah, I could do it just that one item I can make money on, right? So I'll be out of the deal by the end of the month. There's no doubt. And then I will make $12 on an item on middle of May, and then I'll make $23 on 2 items at the end of May, and I'll make $12 in June, and $18 later in June, and $38 because somebody will buy 3 items here, and so on and so on and so on. And as you keep doing that, it avalanches because it's item after deal after deal after deal. So I guess my way of looking at it, and again, a big part of it was literally I had the day off of work, and it was literally around the corner. I mean, that made a big difference as well.
Right.
Yes, I had to go there and whatever, but I also enjoy going. And
Sure.
Not that I didn't get enjoyment out of looking and poking through, and then I did see another dealer there that I talked to, and I made sure he sold to me before, so I made sure that he knew I was still buying, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So, there was all that whole thing going on as well. And he actually made a funny joke. I said, "You got anything to sell me?" And he goes, "Got this road and track I just picked up, 1958.
There you go. Nice.
Yeah, thanks. Given that I had passed it by. But I guess there's a lot of different ways to weigh it, and you do put a lot of time in without even thinking about it. So do keep track of your hours, but on the other hand, how do you not spend $44 on $1,200 to $1,500 worth of merchandise in a day's worth of work?
Well, the thing about it too, 10 years ago, you wouldn't hesitate. That's your option. You're doing it no matter what. Now, at the level you're at, then you got to contemplate, like, do I really want to go out? Do I really need this? And, do I need to spend more money on more inventory, take up more room in my house? So, yeah, more questions than years ago.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right on that. So hopefully that helps you some, and hopefully you just kind of do see that no matter what size you're at, time is valuable, but it's so hard to pass up deals when it's guaranteed money. And like I said, I picked up 60 items, and 1 item I will make my money off of. There was another 2 of the same item that I listed on Amazon. That those 2 items, when they sell, and they're 34,000 in the book category so they're fairly quick sellers. When those 2 items sell, they will make my money back. So I'll double my money on 3 items out of 60.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
So it's kind of a
no-brainer.
But you kind of got to weigh all that up. And so just kind of watch the time disappear, because you do end up spending a lot. And hopefully that gives you an idea as how much time you really will be putting into listing. Because when you're talking, a lot of times you may not realize how much time you put into scanning if you take an item and scan it, and then you list the next item and scan it. Because you're doing 15, 20 seconds, it adds up. But when you actually sit down and you do a scan-a-thon, and you've got 30 minutes into just scanning?
Yeah, I mean, times are different now. I mean, years ago, our employees had one picture and they used a camera. Boom, it's done. So they were doing 20, 25, 30 an hour. Well, now we're a little more complicated. We're scanning front, backs, or table of contents. So when they say I can only list 15, 16, or 17, I can't get mad. That's just how the times change, But, more quality. It's better quality picture. The descriptions are better and so forth.
Well, and I didn't even tell you the best part about it. So I scanned all this. Well, one of the things that I got were a bunch of American Girl magazines and Ingenue magazines.
Oh, yes.
And when I was looking at the table of contents, I said, I just know there are going to be other pictures that I'm going to end up wanting to put up. So when I'm actually listing, I'm going to page through the magazine. Right. So that half hour, 40 minutes of scanning is not in its entirety. I'm going to even add more time to the scanning, because when I've got, but it's time well invested, because these are all from the 1970s, late 70s, mid 70s. So yes, although it stinks that I've got so much time put into it already, if I happen to be going through one of the American Girl and there's a picture of Farrah Fawcett,
oh, geez, it's
of course you've got to put 15 seconds more into it in order to take that picture. It's not like I'm going to be foolish now and say, well, I've already put all the time into the scanning, I'm not going to show the Farrah Fawcett picture. Of course you have to do that, but it all adds up in the end. So hopefully this helps you some. Comment down below if you could. Hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? And we will see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.